Good morning.
Good morning. Today is Sunday, February 18th, 2024. And you'll never guess what yesterday was. I'd actually like to start it tomorrow. But yesterday was Random Acts of Kindness Day. I love that. I didn't know we had an official day,
Right.
but I
It's
love
very random.
random acts of kindness. It's just showing a kindness when people aren't expecting it. And so if we didn't get to it yesterday, we might think about doing it today or tomorrow.
And if we don't sound like ourselves today, it's not the recording, it's not your speaker or your computer.
It's our
It's
noses.
whatever viruses are in the air that we thought we'd like to spend some quality time with. And so both of us have been trying to recover from something we don't know what it is, but we do know it knows us. And so but we're doing better today. And we're glad to be here today, glad to see you today. So why don't we start off with an opening treatment today? So
Okay.
we could use that. Do you wanna
Sure.
unroll it?
Yes. So an opening treatment is an opening affirmative prayer. So let's go within. And we do that by closing our eyes and going to the center of our real selves. And let's know the truth of our being, which is that we are one with the one infinite, eternal, omnipotent God or source of all life. We know that it is in us and through us and is as us. And so as we realize that, we realize we are never alone with our traumas and our dramas and our pain, that the infinite power of the universe is with us. And it is a power that is for us and we may use it. So we use it by knowing that all things unfold for our highest good, including those things that are painful. So we give thanks for it all. And we know that whatever pain we may be experiencing is transient. So the illness we have, the situation we have that may feel unpleasant, we know is transient.
Right? We know that we're not the conditions that surround us or that interfere with the quality of life that we believe and know that we can express. So we allow ourselves to break through that, to know that we are a divine, intelligent expression of a God that loves and cares for us every day in every way.
We know this to be true, and so together we say,
And
and
so
so
it
it
is.
is.
I thought we needed that.
No doubt we did. No doubt we do.
It's easy to forget that. What's interesting to me is we often forget that our greatest tools, and then when everything else fails, what basic tools do I have? When I want to fix something, I'm smart enough now in this particular time of my life that I go get my toolbox before I even decide on a job, because inevitably what I used to do and still do is I think I need a screwdriver for this one. So I'll go get a screwdriver and then I go back and no, it needs an Allen wrench. Why don't you just bring the toolkit with you? Why don't you bring your toolkit with you wherever you go? And if you bring your toolkit with you wherever you go, it doesn't mean you'll always have the right tools, but you're more likely to, and you're not likely to spend as much time lamenting that you don't have the tools you need.
Yes, and so that fits with our topic,
Well, that's
which
good.
is
A nice segue.
we are pushed by pain until we are pulled by a vision. And the vision that we can all have and keep and use is a vision that of what we just did with the opening prayer, which is that God is in us, as us, and is us as it expresses through us, meaning all the power for healing, all the power for good is available to us. And so we can know our wellness in the midst of having a cold or whatever we're going through. We know that in truth, in spirit, we are always perfect, whole, and complete. And so as we focus on that, it unfolds in our physical body. Because when instead we moan and groan and feel sorry for ourselves, and we are being pushed by pain through life, we can really know the truth, which is that spirit is eternal and always well. And that's the truth of us. We focus on that, and then our body responds to that. Our body responds
Right,
with
and it
wellness.
isn't ignoring the pain. It isn't ignoring what doesn't
No.
work. It is
And
recognizing that that's not all there is. It's recognizing that whatever is going on in our life, there is more to us than that, and more to us than that condition or circumstance. We were talking earlier about the talk, and we always talk ahead of time about what we're going to say because we think it's a good idea. And the idea I came up with, which was we spend a lot of our lives trying to get the best pair of binoculars we can get. And we get the best pair of binoculars we can get to see as far as we can possibly see. And part of our wanting to see far into our lives or into the world is not because we even want to see it, we want to be prepared for it. We want to make sure
no surprises,
no
please.
surprises that we're going to be safe. So inadvertently, we're not often looking into the future. We're not often looking at a vision. We're looking at, are there any obstacles or are there things I need to worry about? And if we're not careful, we get our what I call my fear-based binoculars to look for what I need to be afraid of. And the trouble with that is I'm
What's
not,
coming?
yeah, what's coming? Oh my God, what if that happens? I have to go to the dentist. Will I survive it? Have you ever survived it in the past? Yes, but this could be the one day when I don't. And so we have a lot of fears that appear to be allayed when we have a pair of binoculars that can see what's going to happen. What I think is also what would be helpful would be if you're going to get your binoculars out, see if you can find anything out there that you're looking at that you want to spend more time with that's worthwhile, that's positive, that's good, because you're going to borrow against that. You're going to use that in your daily living, no matter where you are, what you're doing. And that's an important piece. What I'm recommending now as I get older and slower and can't see as far is that I buy the best pair of best microscope I can possibly get. And the reason that I'm talking about a microscope is we need to start looking at our lives, I think, in a smaller frame, less in seeing the smaller world that lives in the world that we live in. All the details, all of the textures and the fabric of this life that we're living can be missed when we're trying to see how far we can see. So the question is, and I don't think I'm saying as well as I thought about it earlier, how deeply can we look into the moment? How fully can we embrace this moment? How much of ourselves can we bring into it so that we see all that can be seen? And the more we do that, the bigger life gets for us in a world in which we're not trying to make it bigger. We're simply trying to see as much of the moment as we could possibly live in.
So this reminds me of a Buddhist teaching that I'd like
Ah,
to remind us of. And the tale that is well known for this concept is that a monk is picking strawberries along a cliff area, and suddenly a tiger brushes him. And so, of course, he falls off the cliff, but he grabs hold to a branch, and he's hanging there, and the branch is just hanging by a thread. But there he sees a strawberry, and so he picks the strawberry and enjoys eating the strawberry. Now, this story made no sense to me at all because the man is going to fall to his death.
so he really likes strawberries.
But, but what he's focused on is the moment and the pleasure in the moment. And so that's what Bob is talking about. And that's what we mean by this. You're either pushed by pain or pulled by a
Yeah.
vision.
It's like the man who fell out of a 24-story building, and on the way down, he was heard saying, "So far, so good."
That's right. That's right. But also there was another thing that I wanted to share about that. A Buddhist philosophy is that pain and suffering are not the same thing.
Mm,
Suffering is mental and emotional, and pain can be physical, it can be emotional. But the point is, they believe, and there was a story about a guru who had cancer or some painful disease, and his followers said, "Are you in pain?" And he said, "There is pain, but I am not suffering."
mhm.
And what he meant by that is suffering is when we rail against something and say, no, no, it shouldn't be, not me, not this way, not this time. And that can cause suffering because
Right.
there's resistance.
There's no pain sitting in traffic when you're waiting for the light to change. There is suffering if you choose it.
If you're cursing at the
Yeah, I
traffic or
can't
the first
believe
or
how
third
long this
one.
is. I can't believe we went this
I
way. What
can't
was
believe.
wrong with us?
Yeah.
And by the time you get done with your lament, you almost have to hang out a little bit longer to get it done because it's a lot more there.
That's that being pushed by pain.
Yeah.
It's what we focus on and what we just believe we shouldn't have to endure.
So it would really be helpful this week in particular, I think, given that we're looking at random acts of kindness, to see how many random acts of kindness you can manifest in your daily observation of life, in your moment-to-moment living. How much can you manifest enjoyment of the moment? I happen to be in one of our two little bathrooms, and I'm not going to share any more than that because it's really not relevant. But I happened to look down, and there was a little ant, a very little ant, and it was really interesting because it was a time in my life when that little ant would have been relocated, and to another lifetime, and I thought, well, he's not bothering me. And then I got to thinking about him, and then a couple of days later, I thought, I wonder how he's doing. And I happened to be in the same bathroom, taking care of things, and there he was again. And I wondered if he was lonely. And then I came back another day later, and he had a mate. He had found somebody, and I still didn't have the heart to get rid of them because they live there. But what was interesting to me when I was able to do this was not, oh my God, we got bugs or we've got an ant, I've got to kill this, but to embrace that and wonder with it, and it became part of my experience, part of a positive experience of living. I didn't tell Judith because I was afraid she would come in and kill it. You know,
Not I,
that
not
I
I.
know that we would vacuum it up.
So let's talk about what kind of a vision that can
Yeah.
pull you, can get you out of this kind of being pushed by pain. Uh, I think I have a quote by Ernest Holmes that says it all, and it's just basically when we know the truth that God in me, as me, is me, and so let's see if I have this quote. Yes, I do, and it's from the Science of Mind book that he wrote, page 408. He says, "Our consciousness of God is our consciousness of God is our real self. And at the same time, it is both personal and impersonal. It is personal in that it is personified through us, and it is impersonal in that we are all using a universal power. When we know that we are using such a power, all doubt as to our ability to use it will vanish, and our words will be spoken with spontaneous resilience on truth." So, what I like about that is not that when you know this, everything you think and expect and believe comes true. That isn't it. But you know that whatever is best, is for you, and you are part of the creation. So what are you focusing on? You have to, like, if you have a cold or whatnot, as we do right now, it's so easy to just focus on the pain of the symptoms.
Mhm.
And really you want to be focusing on wellness, health, and just knowing that life doesn't have us be in ecstatic joy every moment, but it is still God working in us, as us, through us. So that is just so much better than I'm in circumstances around here where I see people living in constant fear of not enough money, of not enough health, of not of this terrible thing could happen, that terrible thing could happen. And it's a terrible way to live. So I really see the value of this being pulled by this vision of God in me, as me, is me, expressing. Now that doesn't mean much like the guru that had cancer, that was in he was in pain, but he was not suffering, because he was saying uh, life, they one of the sayings of Buddhism, all life is suffering. I never have agreed with that statement, but I do believe that there is suffering in all lives, but not all of life is suffering.
Well, not all of life is suffering all of the time.
Exactly. But everyone and who comes to the earth school is going to have some pain.
Yeah.
But we don't have to have our whole life pushed by that pain. we can be pulled by a greater vision. And as we focus on that, and we help create it. We don't always get everything we imagine and think about and would like to see happen, but it's more likely to happen than if you just focus on the worst case scenario.
Mhm. Have you ever gone looking for something that you know you placed somewhere or somebody else has misplaced somewhere? And as you were looking for it, you also discovered several other things that you had stopped looking for a long time before. And so what happens when you start looking for good, when you start looking for joy, when you start looking for the expression of the divine working through you, is you begin seeing all the different ways it's revealing itself. And so when you go to that junk drawer that you've got looking for a key and you find many keys, isn't it interesting that you decided to go looking? So we need to be willing to go look for our own good and to expect that it's somewhere there. You don't look for it if you don't expect to see it. Some of us have given up even looking, and so we're not seeing it. I work with people all the time who've given up. They just say basically, I've given up on people and I've given up on life. I just do this because I have to. And what's interesting is how few people want to spend time with them. Yeah. Because they're not fun, and they get together and close the door and talk about how really miserable things are and when they used to be good. And we've all had that. I'm sure in our lives, people that seems to be where they get their strength is their assessment of the world having gone to hell in a handbasket, and there's nothing other than for them to complain. Our responsibility to our daily living is to live and to live with as much life as we can and allow ourselves to express and to experience life in as rich a way as possible.
Indeed. And so it's just so much more fun. And let's talk about random acts of kindness because it's so fun to do.
Yeah,
We some of the first suggestions we heard when we were in California were like when you go through, I think we don't go through turnpikes anymore where you collect money, but we used to. Now it's all automatic. And one of the things you could do, like if you had $1 to go through that
toll.
toll, that you put in $5 and tell the person, I'd like the next 4 people to come through at no charge. And they are so unexpectedly delighted that someone they don't know did something nice for them, that it kind of makes your own day, and there are lots of ways that you can do things in our center in Fort Lauderdale. The minister would have people do that around Christmas time, to pick someone to give a nice contribution to their Christmas shopping in the form of cash. As they were shopping, they would go to Walmart or someplace like that where people who might think they don't have enough money might be shopping, and just give an assist. And it's just a random act of kindness, but it makes you feel so good
Sure.
when you do something like that. What are some other things that
Well, we
people
have a catwalk. They call it a catwalk. It's a common area in our condo, and what we've been
outside sidewalk?
right. And so what we do now is, on occasion, we'll have a cool drink and put our chairs out on the catwalk and sit there and just enjoy that. But what we've also done is that people are coming home at that time from work, and I will tell them,
Or from whatever they're doing.
yeah, and we're so glad to see you. We're here today to greet you, to make sure that you feel greeted and that you feel cared for. And I haven't had a single person grumpy or
You've
groan.
made
Oh
friends
my
doing
God. Well,
that.
when you say that, what as they're passing by, you expect them to continue going to their condo. Instead, they stop and we have 5 and 10 minute conversations. And you can give away kindness just so easily. And you can do it so quickly. I call it hit and run. You say something nice and leave. And then there's no expectation that there has to be returned to you, or that you're going to get something for it. And so whenever we can do that, it's really helpful. I was seeing a young man walking his dog, and I said, "What kind of a dog is that?" And he told me, and I said, "Wow, this dog is so fortunate." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "To have someone like you taking care of it." And he said, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, for you to take care of this dog, that's a great thing to do, and I appreciate that." He said, "I walk my dog every day. I've been doing that for 2 years, and nobody even acknowledges me. They always just acknowledge the dog."
Yeah,
It's true.
and they think they're being friendly by being friendly to the
Yeah,
dog,
yeah.
right?
Can I pet your dog? Can I have your dog? Can I steal your dog? No. But
What are you doing with the dog here?
yeah, really, what's interesting is that those small acts, like they have a life of their own. They carry on. And so if you can say something positive and leave about the day, about the person, about something, they're very small acts of kindness. And it also allows you to have a smile inside too, when maybe you weren't smiling before.
It's true. So we didn't do it yesterday. We'll have to do something today.
Well, the people are
and,
lining
and
up now, waiting to be greeted.
that is funny that we have been doing that. We have to bring our chairs in when we're done because you can't leave anything on the
That's right.
couch.
Yeah, but there's a lot of rules. We go out and we read the rules first, and then we sit there. Yeah, and waiting to be told we can't sit there any longer. Right. No, what's interesting is the condo living, because we have a lot of people living together from a lot of different places who don't necessarily have a common background or a common set of rules. Then instead of that, you have a lot of rules. What you have to be thoughtful of is that in this world we live in, there are a lot of rules, but we're not the rules. You know, we're not having to be the enforcers of all the rules or the critics. Why is he doing that, or why stop? How can you appreciate somebody with how they are, who they are, where they are?
We spent first I'm losing track of how many years we've been in this condo, but
That happens. You start getting amnesia. Yeah,
I think 4 or 5 years,
yeah.
but let's say the first 4 years, but I spent ignoring everybody and just I talked to my next door neighbors and that was it, and go to my car and go to my office, and that was it. I figured best way to get along with 124 people in the same building is to ignore them.
That's a New York attitude. Yeah, and you're not even from New York.
But instead of been getting involved with things lately, and I found a lot of people I really like, and it really
And some not so
enriches my
much.
life, and some not so much, and that's okay.
It just makes us savor the moments we get to spend with the people who are not complaining, yeah, or miserable. Yeah.
But it does make it for richer living to actually,
Yeah.
we are designed to be socially connected with each other. We really are designed to live that way. And I think a lot of the problems that we're experiencing today is people live in isolation with this.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
With nothing but their who they're communicating with on their phone or a computer. And
We're
it's not
connected.
the same.
We're
It's not
connect.
the
Yeah,
same.
we're connecting with ideas. We're connecting with information. We're connecting with a trail of thought that doesn't actually connect us to a person. It has become more and more impersonal. And so ask yourself this week, how can I have a more personal relationship with this world I live in? If I didn't carry my cell phone for the entire day, what would I do? How would I communicate? I'm blown away I love concerts. I'm blown away when I watch a concert now and I see all of the people, or not all of them, many of them at the concert holding up their cell phones, recording and watching the recording. They spend $100 or more for a seat, and they're limited now to a 3 by 5 inch screen to see what they've got. And the sound won't be the same, and the quality won't be the same. But also, what they've done is they've made themselves an observer rather than a participant. You know, I jokingly, as an artist, told one of my friends who was an artist, he said, "What's the function of a critic?" And I said, well, the function of a critic is to take an honest, clear look at an uninspired, impersonal look at the thing he's looking at and dissect it and break it down. And that doesn't mean they get to enjoy it, but it does mean they get paid for that. If you're not getting paid to break it down, be critical of it and analyze it, then don't do that. Critics get paid a fair amount of money because they're not there to enjoy the experience. They're not there as participants, although they may participate. They're not paid to be a participant. You're not a paid observer. You're a participant.
Yeah, at concerts, we started out with these just to use the flashlights to replace candles, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
It was to wave,
Cut back fires by
but now
50%.
people are watching their phone instead of watching the concert.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But anything that you're doing that puts you in second place in the out of step with a one-to-one relationship, see if you can do something with that to change that. If you have a special relationship with your phone where you're not on it, but you're waiting for it, you're watching it, you're anticipating what's going to happen, you're not having a relationship with life, you're having a relationship with phone anticipation. And so just see what you can do with that. And we'd love to hear from you about what you think about that.
Okay, and so now we would like to invite you
You can screen share.
to screen share is what I was looking for, yeah. To join us in our offering. What happened? What is that? We didn't want you. We wanted this. This is a picture of our website's first page. And you'll see up here buttons, home, ways to donate. This ways to donate is what you would click if you don't already have an automatic weekly or monthly offering. And so you can click that and it'll show you ways that you can donate. You do that by going to this website, CSL, which stands for Center for Spiritual Living of the Palm Beaches, .org, not .com, but .org. And we say this affirmation. This is our prosperity affirmation because we affirm this truth. So let's say it together. My investment today is made with a full realization that God is the source of my supply and returns it to me enriched and multiplied. And so it is.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing.